guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm looking at school lunches. We're going to do a 3-course meal with school lunches that we used to have in the 1970s. Oh yes, you'll remember them, don't worry. Anyway, without no further ado, let's get into this. Hi, so first up we have spam fritters, an old school classic. If you're from the 1970s, then you'll remember these really well. In fact, they bring back really good memories for me. We love them. However, are they just the same now as we did them then? Let's find out. Liz, how are you going to do fritters? We all remember these from our school days, at least you do if you're my age. And they were loved, despite them being cheap as chips. So I thought I'd recreate it to an extent for my family. So I've got a tub of spam. Yes, it comes in tubs now. Used to come in a tin. And there is the offending item, but never mind, don't worry. This is basically salty cooked ham / pork meat. I think it's just bits and pieces of different types of cuts and things put together. The leftovers put together, to make spam basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into chunks and we're going to bread it. So I'm going to cut it, so I don't want them too thick. That's about as thick as I remember them when I was a kid, but they're just going to be to try. So I've set up my breading station. So I've got flour, plain flour here on the left. I've got some egg beaten up with some pepper in, and I've got some panko breadcrumbs on the end. Of course we wouldn't have had them in those days, but at least make it crispy if nothing else. Okay, so once you've done that, what you need to do is battering. So we'll put the little bit in, and my advice is if you're doing this is use different hands for different things. So dry with dry, wet with wet. So pop that into there. We'll turn it over with our fork. This is going to create our glue, and then from there into your breadcrumbs, or your panko, whatever you've got. Just pop that there for a second and do another one. So keep one hand dry. Okay, just over. And what we're going to do is we're going to put these in the fridge once we've done them for a little while. I remember sitting down to round spam. It must have come out of a round tin in my day. They were quite big, probably the size of 2 of these, and they used to get served with chips and things. Okay, so now that we've got them in here, what I'm going to do is just grab a fork and press on the panko basically. I want them totally coated. Now there's enough salt in the spam before, so don't add any salt. Don't add any salt to the spam. There is actually more than enough in there for what we need. So once you've got your glue on, pop it onto a plate. Just make sure you give them a good coating. If you want to double dip, feel free, that's up to you. I'm just going to do the one coat. Okay, and get on with the rest. So now these are done, what I'm going to do is just put them in the fridge to cool for a wee while and hopefully set up a little bit so they're not quite as delicate. So these are my spam fritters, which I did yesterday. They've been sitting in the oven. They've been sitting in the fridge overnight, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shallow fry them. Now I'm going to shallow fry them in here. You can see the oil that I've put in, and I'm just letting it heat up at the moment, and then we're going to put them in and see how they turn out. I've just popped the fritters into the oil, and we'll see how these turn out. Hopefully nice. Okay, so we'll just have a look at these and see if they're doing okay. I don't really want to handle them with tongs, so, oh yeah, there we go. There's 1, 2, 3. Luckily all of this is cooked, so it shouldn't be a problem. Oh, there you go. As you can see, it does actually need some oil. So these are my spam fritters. As you can see, they're okay, those are alright. Now it's just down to taste test really. I'm going to serve it with a bit of salad and see what my lovely family say about it. See if I can convert my son as well. Next up we have something I haven't made since I was it's a long time ago. Anyway, we're going to be doing sausage plait. Liz, how does that go? So in my bowl I've got an onion finely chopped, half an onion finely chopped because it was quite large. We don't want too big a bits of onion in here, or too much of it, to be fair. Into that we're going to add some sausage meat. This is just general pork sausage meat that you can get from your supermarket. So we're going to pop that in. Take off the back for it because we don't want any paper in it. And you'll need 2 lots of this. Ooh. Okay, so pop that into your bowl. Okay, and what we're going to add now is about a teaspoon of thyme. So that's dried thyme. And a teaspoon of, in this instance, Italian seasoning. Just because I like it. It's up to you. I think the old version was mixed herbs, but I don't have any mixed herbs. Okay, once you've done that, it's time to get your hands in there. So we're going to add 1 egg. It's a bit like making a burger, this, to be fair. Once you've got all that on, give it a squish together. And we're going to incorporate everything into it. And what we're going to do now is we're going to place it into its casing. Put this to one side for a moment. And what we're looking for is our this, and in this instance we're using ready rolled puff pastry. So taking our piece of ready rolled puff pastry and a sharp knife, what we're going to do is put some marks in this. Now we're going to make like a plait effect. So that basically means that we need to pop our meat in and we're going to make this fit. So pulling it over slightly, we're going to thin it out a little bit. So we've got equal areas at each end. Wash your hands. Then taking a knife, you're going to cut into the corner. So from the edge of it to the corner. And from the edge of it, roughly the same area to the corner. Don't worry if it's not too even. It's not the end of the world. So over there, and we're cutting right through because we're going to make a plait with it. Okay. Cut a bit at the bottom in line with it and a bit at the top, and then taking some tomatoes, and what we're going to do is chop them into slices. So taking some sliced tomato, Just lay it across your plait. And then taking your pastry, put this bit in first. So start at the top and pull it in, and then bring your sides in. There's one into the middle, two into the middle. There we go. And just bring it all the way down. Don't worry if it leaves holes, that's not a problem. It's just let the fat escape that's going to be in there. Bring this bit up at the end and put it underneath the last few bits that you have. If you can get over it. There we go. And these bits on the end here, you just cut off. Do some twists down the middle. So. Okay. It's up to you how you decorate it. It's your plait. It's up to you. That's how I'm going to do this one today. Okay, any excess though, just get rid of. So now we're going to move it onto the baking sheet, which I've already greased. I've put a non-stick tin foil down on. And what I'm going to put on here as well is some plain flour to soak up some of the fat that comes out of this. So just in the middle there, because there will be quite a bit of fat from the sausage meat coming through. Okay, so first things first, pick it up and then taking the bottom bit, pull it out from underneath while you place it on. And you should have that. Then taking an egg, we're going to crack it into a cup and give it a good beat with a fork. And then when you've got a good consistency, paint your sausage plait with it. So just over everything. And this is what your sausage plait looks like when it comes out the oven. Look at that. Now all we're going to do is carve it and serve it with some vegetables and some chips. Old school style, quite literally. Okay, enjoy. And lastly, we have a dessert that is strange to say the least. However, it is amazing. It's only a few simple ingredients, but it tastes absolutely fabulous. Liz, what are you baking now? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make the topping for what we used to have in school a long time ago. It was called, I think it was called apple cornflake or something. I think, I'm not overly certain. But basically what it was stewed apples with cornflakes on top, which sounds pretty damn disgusting, yes, I know. However, you don't knock it until you've tried it, is my point. What we've got in here is 145 grams of golden syrup, 25 grams of butter, and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And we're going to bring it to a boil. We're going to gently bring this to a boil and then add it to some cornflakes. Now the thing with this is you do need to move it because the golden syrup will burn. And what I've already prepared in this bowl here here is some stewed apples with some cinnamon in there. Now they're just regular apples that we had lying around. We've put a little bit of cinnamon, I put a bit of cinnamon in there as well. It didn't need any sugar because it was sweet enough. We're just going to put that to that side for now while we do our sugar and golden syrup mixture. You can see down the side here that it's just starting to bubble now. So we just need a little bit more time. Whatever you do with this, do not touch it. Do not lick it. Do not lick the spoon. Do not lick any part of it. It will be astronomically bad for you. It is molten lava, this stuff. You do not want to do anything with it. Okay, so that's come to a boil. That's a nice boil now. So we're going to switch that off. All the sugars have melted, so we're all right. Now's the time if you want to put any flavourings in to put them in. So for instance, if you wanted to add some ginger to make it gingery, that would be good. If you want to put some vanilla in, that would be good. Even cinnamon, anything that you want in there, any flavouring that you like. I'm just going to leave it au natural because I think the flavour from the brown sugar will be enough for this. We've already got cinnamon in our apples, so we don't really need anything else. So what we're going to do now is get our cornflakes, and I've got 200 grams of cornflakes here. What I'm going to do is pour this in. Oops, excuse me for kicking the camera. Pour this in and then mix it around until it's all covered. So I'll just pop that there. And we're going to just mix this through. And what we're going to do is cover our apple with it. So I'm going to tip this onto here. Gently does it, because it will go everywhere. And just spread it out. I have to say this is gorgeous on its own without any apple underneath it. So don't, if you've got any left over, I wouldn't worry too much about it, just create. And that's our apple crisp, or apple cornflake. I really love this stuff. There you go. And just leave it to cool. So this is the apple with the cornflakes and some, well, I've got it with yoghurt, but you can have it with custard or whatever you choose. So I'm going to enjoy this now. Well, that's it this week, folks. Thank you very much for staying this far. If you liked what I'm doing, please hit me with a thumbs up so that I can get more videos to you, and like and subscribe, that would be great. Also, if you want to see any more old school recipes, click here, and if you want to see some cake being made, click here. For now though, Liz out.